I count my blessings all the time because I never got an STD, I never got sick, I never did anything, because I put myself in dangerous situations all the time. One of the ways to enjoy a sexual relationship is to have safe sex, and it's to not do it because you feel like you should or you have to, or because you have to live up to a reputation.
I always compare sex education to a driver's ed class where they teach you how the internal combustion engine works, but they don't teach you how to drive. What we call sex education is this thing that is basically reproductive biology. Fallopian tubes and zygotes and spermatozoa and stuff that nobody thinks about or wants to think about when they're having sex. Nobody who is horny is thinking, I'm going to go make a zygote. Yeah. What we should be teaching in sex ed is what virtuous sexual activity looks like, which is not necessarily missionary position, matrimonial weight. It is how you respect your partner and how you find a partner and how you negotiate a safe, responsible way to have the kind of sex that you want to have. Not the kind of sex that the Pope wants you to have necessarily. You get to decide what kind of sex that you want to have. How do you get laid? And how do you negotiate sex? And how do you know when you're ready or not? But discussing when you know when you're ready or not might put it in your head that you're ready. I get letters all the time from, 14 and 15 and 16-year-old girls who want tips on blowjob technique.
And what do you tell them?
I ask them if they're sure they want to be given blowjobs at 14. I'm a little conservative, I guess, in some ways. But then I give them the tips, That's what you should do with young people. You should give them the information that they ask for, and you should give them a reality check to make sure that they wonder and examine why they're doing what they're doing, and if it's really what they want to be doing. And if it is what they really want to be doing and they make that decision, it's their decision to make. And part of the whole slut thing is about who's virtuous and who's not virtuous. And if we can get away from the idea that if you're sexually active, you are by definition not virtuous, we can find a big chink in the armor of the whole slut thing and the damage that it does.
I always thought that the only girls that could be sluts were the ones with the big tits.
The high school slut is an icon, a caricature, a cliche, a victim, and a star. If the boys want to hook up with her, the girls are on the offensive, making modern and old school mythology.
Many girls I talked to would get warnings, like, stay away from our boyfriends, as if, like, she should be quarantined or something. If the greatest value in a patriarchal culture is the man at the center of the story, then the idea that he could be stolen means that you would have nothing, that you would be alone. That girl is going to take them all.
I was the boyfriend stealer. That was the biggest one. Don't leave your boyfriend alone with her. Don't let her talk to your boyfriend because she'll steal him. All my friends were guys because I didn't get along with girls because honestly, I was kind of terrified of the girls in my grade.
It's girls who are pointing a finger at the school slut, and it's girls who engineer this ostracism. Now, boys do participate. I don't want to get boys totally off the hook, but usually they are not the ones to start the rumor. Girls have a unique kind of anxiety because they have desire. They are learning about their bodies or wanting to learn about their bodies, and yet they know that if they act on their desire, if they express their sexuality through their bodies, they will be punished.
Where the whole slut thing comes from, I think, is thousands of years of trying to control female sexuality. And I think it's all rooted in fear of female sexuality. And female sexuality is terrifying to some people.
Certain young women have a lot of sexual power, and people know it on some either subconscious or conscious level, and they try to squelch that power.
They may be stuck with this label in their classes during the day, but at night they can go out in the city and form their own tribe of other sluts and rejects and weirdos and goths and freaks and fags.
I'm the kind that you wanna. I'm the kind that you wanna. I'm the kind that you wanna. You wanna. I'm the kind of bitch that you wanna get. Well, if I'm the kind of bitch that you wanna get. Well, if I'm the kind of bitch that you wanna get. Well.
There was one girl, she was totally flat. and like me, and she was my height, and she wore so much makeup, and she used to pick up guys all the time at the bowling alleys and stuff like that, and she was the biggest slut, and it really changed my head because I realized I could be a slut because even though I'm flat, I just put on lots of makeup and I could be a slut too. Themes in my music are just like, let's stop beating around the bush and actually say directly what we want about sex and just about what people say every day, you know, because it's just such a sham the way that, you know, the bad girl image in pop music just, you know, skirts around the issue, you know, and they're just not direct. Only, you know, like rappers say it how it is, and it's just like, well, I want to say it how it is.
Don't you know it's supposed to feel better for boys? Don't you know it's supposed to feel better for boys?
I do get a lot of thank yous, and thank you for being a really good influence for girls, and even a lot of guys thank me too for getting them off. No, for being an influence. It's just whatever. You want to fuck, fine. You don't, you just do what you want. It's just ridiculous of this little like teasy romantic crap.
Girls are like writing the word slut on their arms and screaming it in rock shows and saying, you know, sure, I'm a slut. Why is it any of your business?
People try and reclaim it now by using bitch and slut, you know. Like I even have a song, you know, I'm the kind of bitch. So, just trying to take it back.
If you called me a slut, I would say, thank you so much. You slut, you. It's a kind of compliment because it means you're just like sexy. You like sex and you're open to adventure.
This party is the more popular of the two fetish parties. People always go, there goes trouble. How did they see me? So I thought I would capitalize on that. And then I have like this saucy little minx necklace. And then I put some velvet on it. I had this old skirt because I like to make crazy like little fetish skirts to wear with corsets. And then you don't have to wear a lot of makeup. That's what's good about a veil. You'd be like all fucking ugly and hungover and shit, and no one knows. Because it's just spotty. I think I got smallpox.
If you want to label me with something society has made into this bad word, have at it. Call me a cunt. I don't care. I don't care. Just don't call me a Christian.
That's what an old high school whore looks like.
The word slut made my skin crawl when I was in junior high, definitely. It just turned me off. And since then, I've definitely taken it back.
It only really works if we're all in agreement with each other that this is ironic, you know, and that we're playing around. And my fear is that so many people aren't in on the joke.
The word slut has, you know, very clear and negative meaning.
No, I don't think it can be reclaimed, and I wouldn't want to.
My entire adult life has been about trying to empower women to embrace their sexual potential and power and to follow their muse and do that. If you want to be celibate, great. If you want to be monogamous, wonderful. It's fabulous. If you want to be a slut or whore, great. Go for it. There's no one right way. There's what is your way.
Fags and sluts and geeks rule the world after high school.
She has blowjobs for cigarettes. The myth of the high school slut continues, passed through generations. The sexual revolution, civil rights movement, and feminism haven't changed what goes on in high school hallways.
I mean, I just think teenagers are a great mystery to adults, and sometimes when you're confronted with a mystery, you just come up with a bunch of platitudes and come on, everything will be okay. It's not that serious.
Adults don't intervene. Get into the story with them and say, what did you hear? And expose it for its cartoonish quality. Because that's where the story lives. That's where it still excites kids.
The one piece of advice I gave a slut that I heard years later from that very slut, girl who'd been labeled slut, that was useful was to say so what to people who like got in her face about sleeping with the football team. To say, yeah, I slept with all of them, including your boyfriend. Pretend it's true and make it worse. Pretend that you've done everything. You slept with everybody. It sort of obliterates the power of these other people to make up stories about you that are worse than the ones you've made up about yourself.
It's the labelers who say slut who have the problem, not the girl. But try telling the girl that.
Sexy is, it's something we all aspire to be, is sexy, and to have a good sex life. And if we think someone else is, and we're not especially, then we want to put them down and sneer at them, and then we get to feel better than them, even though we want to be like them.
It really has impacted how I feel about sex as a whole and about how my sexual experiences now. It's really impacted it. Like, it's very hard for me to get intimate with someone and not feel dirty after and not feel like I've done something wrong. Like, I still to this day feel like I owe an apology for getting involved with someone.
Definitely I'm still have that fear that, if I talk to a guy, people are going to assume that I'm flirting with them and that I'm trying to make the moves on him. So I'm really sensitive about that. And it's hard for me to open up sexually with men that I'm in with a relationship with.
It was an aspect of one of millions of experiences of my life. It had a huge part to play in the work that I've done, the life that I've lived, the choices that I've made, but it is not who I am. I am not the shame. I am not the humiliation.
Going away to college was the greatest thing because I went to a much larger school in a different state and nobody knew anything about my reputation, and I could start over and I could escape the whole slut rap. It was a great thing.
I mean, I guess there's a few ways you can go with it, but what I did with it was made it so that I never made anybody feel that awful, ever in my life, if I can help it.
If high school girls can become self-conscious instead of unconscious about this, then the minute they say the word, they'll know that they're doing something that has been, that's a cliche.
Actually, not too long ago, there was a friend at the beginning of the school year who was called a slut, and I stepped in every now and then if I heard them talking about it and told them to screw off, and I helped her through it and tried to encourage her about it and say, don't worry, it's not that bad, it will pass.
Deep inside us, we all have a little part of us that wants to be a Barbie doll or a Playboy bunny or a pinup model or Marilyn Monroe. We all have that little bit, and some of us have it a lot and live that out.
High school it feels like an eternal hell, and people need to be reminded it's not. Gay boys in high school need to be reminded it's not. Sluts in high school need to be reminded it's not. Geeks in high school. The unpopular picked-on kid needs to be reminded that it's not forever. And the fags and sluts and geeks rule the world after high school. We get our revenge.
Yeah, I'm married to the guy that I dated in junior year who stuck by me even though I had this horrible reputation, even though his friends were making fun of him for dating me. So you can tell he was clearly very mature even at a young age.
I was 24 before I got married, and 3 months after that I was still a virgin. So that's how uptight I was about sex.